execution, imprisonment, even murder. These are just some of the threats journalists face around the world. And this day is World Press Freedom Day. It is a time to celebrate free press and remember journalists who put their lives on the line just for doing their jobs. Now, this year is particularly poignant. Just a few days ago, 10 journalists were killed in Afghanistan. In fact, at least 23 journalists have been killed this year, and that's globally, according to Reporters Without Borders. And more than 176 journalists are in jail worldwide, including a large number in Turkey, Egypt, and China, while many others are on trial, including in Myanmar, where 2 Reuters reporters are accused of breaching the country's Official Secrets Act. They could face 14 years in jail. Now, in a surprise ruling, the judge in the case said that he will allow the testimony of a policeman who says that they were framed. Now, for more, let's go straight to Reginald Chua. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Editorial for Thomson Reuters. He joins me live from New York. Reginald, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us here on the program. Let's talk about that ruling. The judge made this key ruling in favor of your reporters. It is accepting the testimony of a policeman who said, yes, these reporters were framed. So are you and is everyone at Reuters feeling a little bit more hopeful about the outcome of this case now?
Yes, of course. Look, I mean, we want to temper expectations, of course, but it is really good news for us. You know, we have a police captain, Mo Yan Nyang, who's very courageously come forward and said this was a setup. He'd been ordered to do so by a brigadier general to give them these papers and then arrest them. And so, you know, the prosecution had moved to declare him an unreliable witness. The judge says, no, he's a reliable witness. We should come back and question him some more. So, you know, finally, I think the true story of what's happening is coming out, and that has to give us some hope that this trial, which frankly should never have taken place to begin with, will come to the right conclusion that Wah Lung and Chua simply doing their jobs and doing nothing wrong.
Yeah, they've been in prison for over 140 days now, and the impact of their arrest, it's made an impact not just at Reuters and on foreign correspondents, but also inside Myanmar as well. Have you seen that it's had a chilling effect on news, on media inside Myanmar?
Well, I think there's 2 ways to look at it, right? I mean, one is that we're really gratified at the outpouring of support locally. I mean, we've had journalists marching, wearing black T-shirts and coming together. So I think it sort of brought a sense of solidarity in some ways. Wah Lung, as you can see on screen, has come out and essentially given a press conference every time there's been a hearing, and he said some incredibly stirring things. So I think that that's really helped journalists in Myanmar remind themselves of the purpose of what they do. At the same time, of course, as you know, in Myanmar, there's been any number of journalists have been arrested and jailed over the last year. And while obviously things are better now than they were, say, 10 years ago under military rule, the space for reporting is tightening up. And you know that it's hard to go in and, for example, report in Rakhine State under Rohingya. So issues like that, I think clearly, you know, there's 2 sides to this. But yes, I agree, people are worried. But at the same time, I think they're also sending a message of solidarity and the importance of press freedom.
Yeah, this is a landmark press freedom case, and it's also about the lives of these 2 men, as you put it, the purpose of these 2 men who are suffering right now. Could you tell us more about Wah Lung and Kyaw, so who they are and what are they like as individuals?
Look, they're both great people. Wah Lung, his wife is pregnant now. He didn't know when he went into jail. He now does know. He's you know, he's a really good guy. He set up charities on his own. He's helped children. He's written children's books. Chua has a 2-year-old daughter. She is the cutest thing you've ever seen. He gets to hug her a little bit at every hearing. He's a poet, actually, but decided that he really needed to tell the story of what was happening in his home state, Rakhine State. One of the things that we do at each of the hearings is they last long enough, and they have a lunch break. They get lunch with their families, and that's been a really nice, small, I guess, blessing that they get at each of these hearings, that they actually spend a bit of time with their families.
Well, Reginald, thank you so much for joining us, giving us this intimate portrait of these 2 Reuters reporters and joining us on this World Press Freedom Day. Thank you so much. Reginald Chua, CEO of Reuters Editorial. Take care.